the rest of the story. It was not wealth or power that first made David distinct. It wasn't even his bold demeanor. No, it was his hair, a crown that became the subject of whispers, speculation, and ridicule long before he became a household name. But like the man himself, the hair had its story. Long before anyone cared who he was, David was just a boy growing up in Queens. His father, a strict yet savvy businessman, instilled in him a relentless drive to succeed. Yet even as a child, there was one thing David couldn't control: his hair. Thick, coarse, and unruly. It defied every attempt to tame it. "Why can't I have normal hair like the other boys?" David grumbled one morning as his mother struggled to comb it flat. She smiled softly. "David, it's not the hair that makes the man, it's what he does." Still, David couldn't shake the insecurity. When he was a teenager, his hairline began to shift, subtle at first, but enough to plant the seeds of fear. In the mirror, he saw his future, and it terrified him. "Balding," he muttered one evening, running his fingers through his blonde locks. "No one takes a balding man seriously." So he resolved to fight it. Years passed, and David's ambitions grew. His name began appearing in newspapers, his face on magazine covers. But while the public marveled at his business deals and bold personality, David remained fixated on his hair. "It's your trademark," his stylist Lisa told him during one of their private appointments. "Trademark? It's survival," David replied. "If I don't look the part, they'll never believe in me." Lisa knew better than to argue. Over time, she developed a precise routine to maintain David's image. The process was meticulous. After washing and drying, she would comb the hair forward, then back, carefully creating the illusion of fullness. A layer of industrial-strength hairspray locked it in place. "Never change it," Lisa advised. "This look is *U* now." David grinned. "Lisa, this hair isn't just me. It's invincible." As his fame grew, so did the jokes. Comedians poked fun at it. Late-night hosts ran entire segments dissecting its mysteries. Was it real? A wig? A weave? Some conspiracy theorists swore it was an alien life form perched on his head. David, of course, leaned into the controversy. "Let them talk," he told his aides. "Any publicity is good publicity," but privately it stung. At times, the mockery felt less like harmless fun and more like an attack on his very identity. During one particularly brutal media cycle, he called Lisa in a panic. "They're saying it's fake," he fumed. "How do I prove it's real?" Lisa hesitated. "David, you've built an empire on perception. Do you really want to risk that?" For a moment he was silent. Then he laughed, a sharp, confident sound. "You're right," he said. "Let them wonder." The years turned into decades, and David's hair endured. Through storms, both literal and metaphorical, it remained a constant, a symbol of his resilience. There were moments of vulnerability, though few ever saw them. One evening, long after the cameras had been turned off, David sat alone in his penthouse, staring at his reflection. The hair was still there, as it always had been. But he knew the truth. Time was catching up. "Maybe I should let it go," he mused aloud. But he knew he never would. And then came the day when David, now an older man, stood on the world's grandest stage. As cameras flashed and crowds roared, he ran his hand through his famous hair, a subtle but deliberate gesture. Later, a reporter asked him about it. "People still talk about your hair," she said with a smirk. "What's the secret?" David grinned, a glint in his eye as sharp as ever. "No secret," he replied. "It's all real. Always has been." And so the world kept guessing, never quite sure whether the man or the hair is the bigger enigma. Of course, you know David by another name, Donald J. Trump, and now you know the rest of the story.